Google just hired an economist for a job that doesn't exist yet. The position? Chief AGI Economist. The timeline? Post-AGI Economics. If that doesn't make your spine tingle, you haven't been paying attention, because when the smartest people in AI start planning for after AGI, the game has already changed. Here's what most people missed. Legg, co-founder of Google DeepMind, the guy who literally invented the term AGI scientist, didn't just tweet about AGI being close. He posted a job listing. Think about that for a second. You don't hire a fire marshal after the building burns down. You hire them when you see smoke. And this isn't some startup founder hyping vaporware to pump their Series B. This is a man with access to the most advanced AI systems on Earth, systems you and I won't see for another 18 months, calmly stating, AGI is now on the horizon, and it will deeply transform many things, including the economy. But here's the kicker. He's been saying 2028 since 2009. 17 years ago, when most people thought Siri was cutting edge, Legg put a 50% probability on minimal AGI by 2028. And he hasn't budged. That's not hype. That's a man watching his prediction come true in real time. When someone with Legg's track record, who co-created AlphaGo, the first AI to beat a world champion at Go, maintains the same timeline for nearly 2 decades, you don't dismiss it, you prepare for it. Now, let's talk about why hiring an economist is the most terrifying thing Google could do right now. Post-AGI economics isn't about how do we make more money with AI, it's about what happens when MEI becomes meaningless. When AGI can outthink, outwork, and outcreate every human on the planet, what's your job worth? What's any job worth? This economist isn't studying growth models, they're studying survival models. How do you distribute resources when production is infinite but human labor is obsolete? What does taxation look like when corporations don't need employees? How do you prevent societal collapse when 40% of the workforce becomes redundant in 36 months? Google isn't asking these questions for fun. They're asking because they've seen the data, they've run the models, and the models say, get ready, fast. Ahmad Mostake, former CEO of Stability AI, wrote an entire book called The Last Economy. Not the next economy, the last one. Because after AGI, the rules don't just change, they evaporate. And here's what should terrify every business owner. The companies preparing for post-AGI economics right now will own the future, while everyone else will be asking what happened when their entire industry disappears overnight. This isn't about adaptation anymore, it's about anticipation. But maybe you're thinking, this is all speculation. Where's the proof AGI is actually close? Fair question. Let me give you Exhibit A, AlphaGeometry. In 2024, Google's AI solved International Math Olympiad geometry problems that make PhD mathematicians sweat. It didn't just solve them, it solved 25 out of 30, matching the performance of gold medalists. Human gold medalists who trained their entire lives. And here's the part that should keep you up at night. It invented new proofs, not regurgitated textbook solutions, original mathematical reasoning that humans had never conceived. Legg himself pointed to this and said, AGI is getting closer. Not might get closer, not could theoretically approach, is getting closer. Because reasoning, true, novel reasoning, was the final frontier. It's the difference between a calculator and a colleague, and we just crossed it. What makes this even more significant is that mathematical reasoning was considered the last bastion of pure human intelligence, the only domain where machines would always need us to show them the way. That fortress just fell, and it fell quietly, while most of the world was distracted by chatbots writing emails. Let's continue with the gaps we can't ignore. Now, before you start building your bunker, let's inject some reality. Demis Hassabis, the CEO of Google DeepMind, says we're still about 5 to 10 years out, maybe 1 or 2 major breakthroughs away. So what's missing? 4 things. 1. Advanced reasoning under uncertainty. Current AI, it's brilliant, but in closed systems. The real world, it's messy, it's chaotic, unpredictable. 2. Hierarchical planning. AGI needs to think in layers, strategic, tactical, operational, all at once, across years, not just the next few tokens in a sentence. 3. Long-term memory. Right now, AI has the attention span of a goldfish on Red Bull. AGI needs to remember, to contextualize, and to learn from decades of experience, not just its last conversation. And 4. Hypothesis generation. AlphaGeometry proved theorems inside a system we gave it, but it didn't ask, what if geometry worked differently? AGI needs to question reality itself, not just solve puzzles within it. These are not small gaps, but here's the thing. Google is already working on all 4, and they aren't starting from zero. They're starting from models that already beat humans at most cognitive tasks. The difference between where we are now and AGI isn't a marathon. It's a sprint with only a few hurdles left, and every single one of those hurdles is being attacked by the brightest minds in AI with virtually unlimited resources right now. Consider this. When DeepMind set out to solve protein folding with AlphaFold, experts said it would take decades. They did it in 2 years. When they tackled Go, the timeline was maybe never. They conquered it in 18 months. The pattern is clear. Once Google identifies the gaps, closing them isn't a question of if, but how fast. And right now, they're moving faster than ever. So, how do you know AGI is close? You watch what the smartest people in the room are doing when they think no one's looking. They're hiring economists for post-AGI economies. They're publishing papers on reasoning breakthroughs. They're quietly updating their timelines from decades to years. They're moving from research labs to policy discussions. And most tellingly, they're getting nervous. Not excited, nervous. Because AGI isn't just another iPhone release. It is not even the internet. It is the moment when humanity creates something smarter than itself and hopes, prays it still needs us around. The clock Legg started back in 2009 is ticking. We're at 2026. That gives us, by his estimate, maybe 24 months until minimal AGI. Not full God mode superintelligence, but minimal AGI, systems that can do most economically valuable work better than humans. The question isn't if anymore, it's not even when, it's are you ready for what comes next? Because Google is, and they're hiring. The smartest move you can make right now isn't to debate whether AGI is coming, it's to position yourself, your career, and your investments for a world where human cognitive labor becomes optional. That world is not science fiction, it is 24 months away, and the people who see it coming will thrive while everyone else scrambles to understand what just happened. Here's the brutal truth. The last major technological shift, the internet, gave us a decade to adapt. AGI won't be that generous. When minimal AGI arrives, the transition from business as usual to everything has changed won't be measured in years or even months. It will be measured in weeks. And the only people who will be ready are the ones who stopped waiting for permission to believe it was real. If this made you rethink your next 5 years, hit subscribe. Because when AGI arrives, the only thing more valuable than intelligence will be information, and you just got both. See you in the next one, if we're still the ones making the videos by then.